Welcome to episode 55 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined yet again by my good friend Go Cubs 711.
Chris, I want you to think about nachos for a second.
Okay.
What would be the worst thing you could put on nachos?
Like the marshmallow fluff.
Oh yeah, like the stuff that like spreads like peanut butter.
A little, yeah.
Or like Lucky Charms marshmallows.
No. I'm like just regular like fluff, like a
Okay.
jar of fluff.
Yeah.
There's also like the vanilla like icing that you like put on like some like on some
cake?
cakes.
Yeah.
Like the drizzle on like a lemon poppy seed cake.
What about cream cheese? Because like you put cheese on nachos, but I don't think cream cheese would like quite fit.
I would try it. I would not be against
Try it?
it.
Like if you just smeared cream cheese on like a tortilla chip, would you try that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. But like when you add all like jalapenos and ground beef.
I feel like it would enhance the flavor. I mean, maybe I'm like, I don't know. I know it doesn't have the same effect as like sour cream or anything.
Leave it in the comments below. Should cream cheese go on nachos?
I mean, should it? I mean, I don't think so, but that won't stop me after this podcast from, going and grabbing some cream cheese and putting it on nacho and seeing if it works.
Yeah.
So I'll keep you guys posted. Welcome everyone to the first of, I would like to do like maybe 3 of these off-season podcasts. I'm hoping the goal would be to do this over the course of the next 3 weeks or so, or even spread the third one out maybe later into May. We'll see. But we're gonna talk a lot about what has happened this off season. It's been a lot. It's been a journey already. And I think that we'll go more in depth, I think, in the third podcast. I think that's when I really want to tie everything together and really get to know the 32 teams, but everyone's still kind of rebuilding. It's still kind of early, so the first segment for today, I just kind of want to sit back and just start with you, Go Cubs, and you're the only one here, so of course I'm going to start with you.
Well, I mean, you could start.
That's true, but what to you has been one of the craziest things that have happened this offseason, or just something of interest that you would like to talk about in the offseason that you've seen thus far?
Do you want to talk about the move, or should I?
Why, it's up to you, my friend.
The big one.
The big one is something that has scarred me very much, but that is completely up to you if you want to start with that. And then I give
Let's end with that.
Let's end with okay. So what would be outside of that? I think that's why if anyone watches these videos and knows us and knows me, I'm sure would be the reason why people tune in. But let's leave them hanging. Let's tickle their balls a bit. Let's go. let's
Bad analogy.
let's go ahead. What's something that surprised you or something that you thought was like, whoa, that's cool.
I don't know if there was any particular signing that was like oh, that's cool. Like in my team's case, the Bears got Haha Klindix, best name in football.
Yes.
But also like it's good, feels good to like have that player.
Yes.
He and Kyle Fuller were drafted like right next to each other in the draft that they were in, and the Klindix was so much better than Fuller, and then this past year Fuller was so much better, and now they're both on the same team, and we have them both. So yeah. That's fun. In the big news, I'm gonna choose to unfortunately talk about Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Reason I'm doing that is because I don't know why I'm doing it. I want to see if the downgrading quarterback will change how he plays.
Mm.
Derek Carr is definitely a downgrade, and I don't think that that the offense is going to be able to do as much as Pittsburgh was able to do. So there's that. I also think that it's really I'm upset at how like much of an ego Brown has had in this offseason.
Mm.
Almost to like an annoyance point, especially like, and I know it's just drama right now with him, but that's part of the reason why I hate it. Like the thing he had with Juju just now.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. You're on a worse team. You're not going to the playoffs this year. Probably bite my tongue at the end of the season for that, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Like that move in particular, like I feel like the Raiders, of all the destinations he could have ended up, I feel like the Raiders was the one that will lead him to the least amount of success. He will be the most valued player on that team and the most valuable player on that team, but the team will not be successful just because they have Antonio.
Yeah, I agree. And it's interesting that you say that, because I think a lot of people felt like when he was traded to Buffalo, that was momentarily. That many people were like, well, that was that the Steelers are just stabbing him in the back for that one. He's just trying to, they're just trying to stick it to him when he traded him. But I think that if he ended up in Buffalo, that it would have been much.
I think that Buffalo is a better fit for him.
And I think the Bills are a much better team this offseason. I think that they're going to compete this year. I don't doubt that. They've added a lot of depth around the team, and they're just a little bit stronger. I would like to see what they do in the draft before any major like proclamation of them making the playoffs, but I think they'll be in it. I think especially with how like on and off they were last year, beating some surprise teams. But to your point about Antonio Brown, I throughout most of this drama that has happened with the Steelers, I've been pro Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, because I think that players kind of are restricted in a lot of ways to what they can do in terms of getting the contracts that they feel like they deserve, and those two guys represent two of the best at their position. Le'Veon Bell deserved to be paid the highest running back. I think Antonio Brown deserved to be paid as the highest wide receiver, and I think Antonio Brown deserved to at least get that contract. I definitely see, though, looking back at it, I think that Antonio Brown absolutely. I don't like the term of like talking about ego as much. I just think that he has a really bad personality that has really shown its light in the last few months. And at first it was like all right, well, maybe he just hates Ben Roethlisberger, and which is fine. I think a lot of people hate. Yeah, which I think a lot of people hate Ben Roethlisberger, and I think that's fine if he has spat with him, and by the way, everyone's like, oh well, he held out week 17. I don't think he did. I think what happened was that he said that he was hurt and he held out of practice, and then he came in that Sunday saying, oh, I could play, and then the Steelers were like, no, we don't want you to play. That's what ended up happening, and I think that's gotten lost a bit. But the attacks against Juju, who seems like one of the nicest guys in the NFL, a guy that is a lot of fun. I
am on Team Juju, by the way.
I am too. I think he makes it makes the Steelers team that's generally not likable very likable, and I think it's a shame that Antonio Brown decided all of a sudden to make Juju the enemy, even though there was no reason to really do that. Juju this entire time has been happy for Antonio Brown, expressed that he's been happy about getting to a situation that Brown seems happy in, and that he got the contract that he deserves, and Juju was behind him, and then all Antonio does to pay him back is shit on him on Twitter, and for a very low moment in his career that he dropped a ball that might have cost the chance for the Steelers to make the playoffs, and which also is bullshit because I never really think that one event really causes a team to miss the playoffs or miss a game or whatever. There's certainly an aura behind those kind of plays, and I get why people feel like that. But no, I don't like that attitude. It really has shined a bad light on him as a human being, and I wish him the best with Oakland, but I really hope that he gets a grip and doesn't go after people relentlessly for really no reason, for what it seems like. Yeah, so I guess to go from do you have another one? I mean, because I think what I can do is I can talk about something else before we get to the big one.
I don't have another one. I think I really don't. I guess like Fitzmagic will make his reign again.
Yes.
That's a great one. I'm so happy.
Yes.
Just for the bullshit of it all. The Dolphins are going to be competitive the entire goddamn season, and it's not going to make any fucking sense, and I will hate it. But because I hate the Dolphins.
I love it. I love that Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what it is? The Dolphins have really annoyed me over the years, just to the fact that I just felt like the whole team has just been. They've had some really exciting moments. I mean, obviously the most recent being like their miracle against the New England Patriots, but I feel like with the change at quarterback and having some guy that seems like he has like just such a more vibrant personality than Ryan Tannehill under center, that's just gonna make it so much fun. So I am definitely looking forward to Ryan Fitzpatrick and what he does over there. I think the overall like point for this offseason to look at is kind of how teams. So the playoff teams that contended last year it looked depleted in some ways. The Ravens lost a lot of defensive players: C.J. Mosley, Terrell Suggs.
There's no wide receivers on the Ravens roster right now.
Yeah, I mean you have like Seth Roberts, Willie Snead.
You have no wide receivers on the Ravens roster.
Yeah. No, I know. The Chiefs, like their defense, I don't think has really intensely improved this
which
season.
They needed to improve it, and they haven't.
They
let D Ford go.
D Ford was sent to the 49ers. Justin Houston, who's, even though he's up there in age, has still been good. They released him, and he went to the Colts. Eric Berry is also gone from that roster. And
they're trying to, Chris. What they're trying to do is make their force Mahomes to throw even more deep balls so he could break another touchdown record.
Oh yeah, they're just trying to juice his stats. I get it. And Houston Texans. I mean, they lost Tyrann Mathieu and Kareem Jackson. They replaced them with Bradley Roby. I mean, it's tough right now to see that. They really didn't add anyone too spectacular in free agency, so I don't know if the Texans are going to be competing hard this year. Will be interesting to see what they do in their first round. Some quarterback stuff too, like Joe Flacco is now a Bronco.
Also, yeah, true. Lamar Jackson's experience. Colt McCoy and Case Keenum will duke it out in Washington until they get Josh Rosen.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, and speaking of, that is the storyline that Josh Rosen fucking could be traded, which is insane. I can't even that. To me is just, it just stuns me that after a year that the Cardinals are now considering just taking Kyler Murray, even though they could really get someone great defensively to kind of build around Rosen. It's a very strange situation that's happening in Arizona.
I don't know. I truly think that whoever Arizona takes with the first round pick, it will decide the future of their team.
Yeah.
And the Cliff Kingsbury era.
I mean, it may end up working out for them. I mean, I have no gripes about Kyler Murray. I think he's going to be a great player. it would be great if the Giants could trade up to get him. I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
Not gonna happen.
I'm trying to hope for good things. I'm going to be shitting on them in a second. Don't you worry.
Cool.
But you know, like I think about Kyler Murray is like he's someone that is worth getting, and so I get where Cliff Kingsbury might be like, you know, I'm this quarterback guru guy, which I'm sure he wakes up and looks in the mirror and says that every day. And he's gonna be like, I want to get this guy that shows that he has like all this amazing talent, which Josh Rosen does too, but like I think Murray may work better for the system that he has, and that's fair.
That's fine.
But you have to get value from Josh Rosen, because otherwise
if they do what the Bears did with Jordan Howard,
they could. But
I'm just talking about if they need to get something for Rosen if they go Kyler Murray.
Right.
Another free agent move. Bears trade away Jordan Howard. I saw it coming. 6th round pick is garbage for the type of player Jordan Howard is.
Yeah. It was kind of that compensation I thought was very, very surprising.
Yeah. I'm not upset that they traded Howard because I saw it coming and I think it makes sense. I'm upset that we only got a fucking 6th round pick.
Yeah, that's I think is gonna be. It'll be interesting. I mean, because now you'll have Tariq Cohen probably leading the team, but you have a guy, and I'm gonna forget his name because he was kind of in and out. Mike Davis. Thank you, Mike Davis.
Yeah.
He had some moments in Seattle that looked good. So he could be your bell cow. I mean, you never know. But it's.
I want one.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
I want Bears to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, but I think the Bears are now trying to transition to being a very, very pass-happy team. You have a guy like Cordell Patterson on the team now too, where he was part running back for the Patriots, and he will also be a pass catcher. So you never know. You never know what could happen on that front. All right. Done delaying. I was playing. What was happening? I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 because I play old games all the fucking time. I'm sorry, just who I am. I was playing like a race, and I was getting kind of frustrated during the race. And at one moment, I kind of like just paused. I was just like, "Fucking, I just need to take a break. Let me look at my phone." I look at my phone. I got a text from my father, who generally does not he's not like tuned into football. But he knows a good amount about it. And just 2 words on my screen: Odell's gone. And I'm like, please tell me he's looking at like a fake website, please. And sure enough, I go on Twitter and I see Mike Garafolo just say, yeah, Odell Beckham Jr. traded to the Cleveland Browns for a 1st round pick and a 3rd round pick. And Jabril Peppers. And that was in addition to a trade that would happen earlier where the Giants traded Olivier Vernon, who I thought that's a good trade, for Kevin Zeitler, which I think did all right with the Browns, and I'm okay with getting that online depth. I saw this and I was just fucking speechless, and it was probably the lowest that I felt as a Giants fan in the era of me liking football. And I've heard a lot. I've had arguments with people. I've had people are not necessarily saying that the Giants are on the right path now that they got rid of Odell, but saying that Odell was a problem and that he caused enough issues with locker room.
You defended this and had an argument with me on this topic.
Yes. And
a couple years ago.
A couple years ago, right.
Yeah.
And I look, when he first started, he was a problem. he had moments on the field, especially when he tried to kill Josh Norman, that were absolutely abysmal, and he deserved every bit of criticism for it. I understand that the game gets emotional for some guys, but those emotions end up causing the team penalties, and that happened in 2015, and that happened in some parts of 2016 as well, and that was very upsetting to see. There was the boat trip. That was a really shitty time. I tried to be like, well, and I still stand by it in some sense. I think that there's NFL players that do that all the time, but they're not stupid enough to put it on social media. Those guys were just stupid enough to put it on social media, and that kind of caused that kind of controversy. You know, there's the lifting the leg and peeing on the football field, which apparently a lot of people hated, and I kind of look at it and I'm like, I don't necessarily mind that. I don't mind that as a dance. If you're gonna talk shit, do it. It's fine. I did not think that was like a bad character thing or anything like that. But whatever. That was just a difference of opinion. There was a lot of things, and apparently that was like the tipping point for John Mara. And yet, we get to the 2018 offseason, right? And they decide that, first of all, they see a video of him supposedly smoking a blunt, which that kind of sparked trade rumors during like the NFL owners meeting, and that I would have lost more of my shit on if they traded him then, if that was the reason, because I don't know what it is with the archaic rules that are in place that players in their off time can't just smoke a blunt and not get in trouble for it. It's a stupid, you know, old rule. And I hope they get rid of that. I hope that they kind of realize that marijuana does good things for NFL players for the most part when used correctly and not overdosing or anything like that. And then that was happening during the spring, and then in the summer they gave him a fucking extension, and that's the root of what pisses me off the most, because they gave him an extension, paid him all this money, and they're like, we're going to stay loyal to you, Odell. We're going to keep you by your side. Now, a few days after that extension, he went on ESPN, and he had some words about saying that, you know, Eli Manning, he doesn't really know if Eli Manning is good enough, which I could totally understand how people would look at that and be like, why the hell are you throwing your teammate under the bus? I get it. I don't think he was wrong in what he said, because I fucking agree with him, but I understand why people had a problem with that and why Mara and Gettleman and whoever higher-ups may have had an issue with it. But then the rest of the year, he played fine, and then he was injured near the end, and supposedly they're like, oh, he was maybe overdramatic about it. You know, which I think is such bullshit when people say that, because I think they're trying to kind of cause this narrative that he's more, like, they're still trying to build on that, like, diva narrative, whatever. Then kind of came April or March, almost a month ago now, and that trade came in, and I don't understand how you can go from wanting to keep the player around so much that you gave him an extension to trading him 6 or 7 months later. And on top of that, blaming his behavioral issues that, for the most part, I would argue was more in the beginning of his career than lately, on why you're losing so many games. And basically being like, and saying that this roster could not handle, or this team could not handle Odell Beckham, even though every Giants fan who actually met Odell Beckham liked him, and the teammates on the Giants liked him, and the coaches didn't really have a problem with him. It was the higher-ups, it was the general manager, and it was the fucking owner that were like, and I think the owner is the one that ended up causing this trade to happen, John Mara, just being like, yeah, we don't want him on the team because he pretended to pee on a football field. It's essentially what happened. And so I'm just looking at this whole situation, and I'm thinking, well, if they're going to blow it up, let's hope that they blow up Eli at the same time. And then comes later reports that Eli Manning, they're going to say, all the narratives of him being burnt out are wrong. And so not only are we going to keep him around for 2019, we're going to keep him through 2020. And we're going to keep him going.
Eli Manning has done since 2012. Exactly.
It's just, I'm not trying to be like, I get that many Giants fans are going to be, that are upset by people who criticize Eli Manning. But let's face the facts. The guy had talent around him during his 2 Super Bowl runs. And he had a spectacular postseason run in 2007 and 2011. He was amazing during those times. But he's simply not a competent quarterback now. He has aged to the point where he looks at the field and his throwing style is just Swiss cheese, and he just throws into these holes that don't even exist. He throws at the feet of these receivers. And it's like, oh, well, fucking the wide receivers drop the ball all the time. Well, because he's overthrowing them, and they can't fucking catch those balls. It's amazing. It's absolutely insane the amount of people who are just going to defend him because he won a Super Bowl. Oh, you never went to a postseason. You never go do well in the postseason with Odell Beckham. Yeah, he went there one time. He went there one time. I mean, I'm just saying that this team was good maybe once with Odell Beckham, and they weren't even that good. Odell Beckham carried that offense. He was a great player, and I love him for what he did, and I understand the frustration. I just, as a Giants fan, if they're not going to go for a quarterback in this draft, I am going to burn my Giants stuff, and I don't even think I'm joking on that front. I am so angry at the fact that they're not even looking towards the future because they think they can win now with Eli Manning and that offensive line and the defense that doesn't have a star on it anymore because they got rid of Lenny Collins too. It's amazing how bad this team is, and I cannot wait for you to shit on them.
Yeah, I've told Chris this. I've kind of now like just unofficially like picked a team to shit on every year. 2 years ago was the Browns. Last year was the Raiders. This year it's going to be the Giants, and I feel no reservations about that. The good news for Giants fans and for Eli Manning is that they signed Golden Tate. So now you have 2 slot receivers, which is about as far as Eli can throw.
Right, yeah. I mean, and like Sterling Shepard, I'll give them this. I'll give them this. He's had some pretty spectacular games. He has never gone over 1,000 yards, but he's been a good receiver for the team.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver too. Will he be a wide receiver 1?
No.
I mean, I'll have to see it.
We don't know.
But like, you know, I think. What are they gonna do now, though? Are they they're gonna rely on those 2 receivers who are reliable, but they're not really like huge deep threats. I mean, Golden Tate maybe, but you're gonna be relying on Saquon Barkley, right?
Right.
But you're gonna pound him into the ground over and over again, and behind an offensive line that we still do not know is going to be reliable. I mean, you got Zeitler, which is good, but you need to build on that offensive line in the draft. Which I totally get that they can totally do that, but then you still have
you got 2 first-round picks. That's all I'm.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. You could do something with that. You could get, even if you don't pick a QB with your first one. Like if you don't want Dwayne Haskins, or Drew Lock, like whoever.
Yeah.
Like in the very tippy tops, draft whoever gets you. Draft Josh Allen. The defense and not the current quarterback.
Well, yeah, Allen's gonna go high, but
yeah. Well, I've seen some mock drafts have Allen reach New York.
You mean like for the 6th pick? Yes.
For the 6th pick.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the next one, take a QB.
Yeah, you might have Lock there. You might have Haskins there. Haskins, they're saying that Haskins could drop there. You never know.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you never know. I think that this is a personal thing. I legitimately think if Arizona does not take Kyler Murray with the first overall pick, I don't know if Kyler Murray would be a first round pick.
Mm. I
I
think
don't know. I don't know what team other than the Raiders and maybe the Patriots would go for him.
I think that you're gonna definitely see people try to trade up for him if they do end up skipping over him.
Right.
I just because I think that people are desperate for quarterbacks and his stock has been generally rising. Um, I don't know. I think that's what's gonna cure it for me for the Giants. If they draft a quarterback, if they get some offensive lineman that's gonna help protect whoever's behind them, whether it's Eli or a quarterback. If you have a defensive player of sorts that looks really good that you want to draft, get them because we need that help in that defensive area. Get someone else to be part of this wide receiver core. There's so many holes on this team that I feel like you need to address this draft and start building towards the future. And if you really think that Eli Manning is going to be this superstar in 2019, I urge you to still draft a quarterback, because he could be great in 2019 and then completely plots in 2020. And it's not worth the risk. You can't wait for 2020. I know there's better quarterbacks in 2020. Don't wait for 2020. Or get Josh Rosen. If you want to get, if you're able to say, hey, here's a first round draft pick, let me have Josh Rosen. If you want to go there, fine. Just get someone that seems like an option.
They could also do that. I think that, me personally, I think that getting Josh Rosen would be New England's best play.
Oh, I think so too.
Get an elite talent and trade away your later first round pick and some other picks for Rosen.
For insight here, Patriots and Giants have the most draft picks with 12.
Okay.
So the
Patriots are going to become another super team in 5 years, and the Giants are going to do shit with them.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll get Rosen. They just need someone behind Eli, and I'm really sorry for you. And believe me, Chris, it gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better as someone who's gone through bullshit after bullshit year of Jay fucking Cutler, who hasn't even won Super Bowl. The reliance on him after all this and shitty coaching and all that, it will get better.
Yeah, I wish I remembered what winning in 2007, 2011 were like, because I wish I cared back then, because I think I would be a lot less angry right now. I think I'd be a lot more content with all this dysfunction if I had that Super Bowl tucked away, but I did not care about football back then, so I just was like, hey, whatever, they won. Okay, cool, bye.
Yeah, all right.
So, sorry.
Any other free agent stuff that you want to bring up?
I think that's pretty much covers it.
I about the Giants for about 20 minutes.
I'm sorry. We knew it was going to be a big one when it finally came out, so I'm sorry. Oh, one last note. Mr. Jason Witten is back, baby.
That's true.
He's back with the Cowboys as a tight end.
He had such a hard time with Monday Night Football that he just had to go back to the football to him.
Yeah, it's what he knows best. So I initially wanted to put the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I ended up not doing so for week one.
Entire Monday Night Football Monday Night Football cast is now just going to be the Booger Mobile and nothing else.
Well, and actually they did confirm that they're ditching the Booger Mobile next year.
Well,
so that's it. So it's
because he's just going to do it from the stadium or from the press box.
Yeah, it's Testator and Booger McFarland, I think.
No more Booger Mobile. Booger Jerome.
He's just like holding on to this fucking helicopter, not even strapped in. He's just holding on for fucking dear life, trying to analyze a football game.
Well, as you can see here, folks.
Ah!
All right,
Okay.
shall we move on?
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna dive more into all that shit later, maybe next month. But for now, the big thing that's gonna happen, I think, this week, they haven't announced it yet, but I'm almost certain it's gonna happen, is the schedule. The schedule is my favorite time of year because you get to see what it's gonna be looking like for week 1 and for all the weeks ahead and how the season might shape out. And it's fun. I like it. I enjoy it. So that's what we're looking forward to, and that's what we're predicting today. Unfortunately, the schedule people out there have already leaked so much, so a lot of our shit's already filled. But we're gonna try to throw in some matchups here that that haven't been really confirmed, and go from there. So go, cuz why don't you start out with first of all, the kickoff, the Green Bay Packers at Chicago Bears. What do you think of that? Go Cubs!
I'm very excited. The longest standing rivalry in the NFL. A rivalry that drives me fucking insane, but one that I enjoy nonetheless.
Yes.
We're gonna kick those cheeseheads asses. It's gonna be great. Ashes.
Yeah. I think the reason that they did this was because it is the 100th season of the NFL and the 100th season of the Chicago Bears, so it was only fitting to have the Bears and Packers on kickoff. It's the first time in a while that the Super Bowl champion will not be the kickoff, but the Patriots.
Everyone will still see them.
Yeah, the Patriots will be on Sunday Night Football though. That will be when they do their banner raising. And what do you think is going to happen for that game? Who are they hosting?
I think they're going to be hosting the Chiefs, just because I think that's going to be the most wanted matchup.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's what's going to end up happening too. I ended up predicting something else just because there's something that happens with the AFC and NFC Championship games where they're like, Fox gotta have the NFC Championship rematch, and CBS has to have the AFC Championship rematch. It's like some sort of bidding war that happens within networks for those games. That I think that could be what happens. I still think it's probably gonna be Chiefs Patriots, but I wrote my second option for the most obnoxious matchup there possibly can be. Dallas Cowboys going to the Patriots.
Fucking hate you.
For the raising.
I hate you as a person for making that decision.
I think it was between that and the drama-filled Steelers. I just felt like the Cowboys I feel like Sunday Night Football would go for the jackpot, and you never know if like the Cowboys are just gonna like suck this year, and like the Patriots will probably still be dominant. This is the week 1 is the time to have this matchup because there's gonna be high expectations for both teams and all their fan base is gonna be looking in. It's gonna be a ratings bonanza. It might not be a good game, but it's gonna be a ratings bonanza, and that's why you put it on Sunday Night Football. So that's
not only that, I sound better now because I just remembered to actually tell Discord to use this microphone.
Oh, okay. Hello there. Did you do the 2 Monday Night Football matchups as well?
I did. The ones I decided were as you kind of alluded to.
Yes.
Browns. And the other one I did, kind of a weird one, but I thought it fit in the fact that it would be the West Coast one.
Yeah.
Colts at Chargers.
Ooh, so Colts would be playing at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I like it. I would like more diversity in that 10 o'clock slot because for the most part
I will not be awake during that.
For the most part only the West Coast teams end up in that slot, but I think it would be fun to have Colts or whatever to show up for that. I like it.
Yeah, send them over. Really test to see if they like are the Super Bowl, are the like runner-up Super Bowl candidates that everyone says they are.
Yeah. I think
play when you're tired.
Yeah. I think you faded out when you said your first one, but I'll just go ahead and say it because
Browns Jets.
Yeah, the Browns Jets. Odell Beckham kind of let the Bills spill a little bit on his social media. He first said that like, oh,
Indeed.
it's funny how these things work out. Um, and by the way, I'll talk about the Browns angle for the Odell in a few podcasts. But I'm liking the Browns this year, like I did last year, but now definitely more this time. But he said like, oh, funny how things work out, and then he commented on like Jamal Adams like Instagram post or something, and he was just like, see you week 1. So the theory I think is that Browns and Jets they played in the first ever Monday Night Football game, so it's kind of fitting if they play in the Monday Night Football game to kick off this year. So Browns Jets I think is going to be locked in Monday Night Football, and the Chiefs and the Raiders. If the Cowboys are playing on Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs will still get a primetime game. They'll play late, and they'll play the Raiders with Antonio Brown, because you gotta spotlight that dumpster fire in primetime just a little bit more. And I think the 3 first-round draft picks will be interesting too, to see what they do with that. I think will be an interesting storyline as well. Sure. And their last year in Oakland, most likely. We said that last year.
Did they figure out where they're playing yet? I don't know if I.
Yes, they did. They did.
Where?
They're playing in Oakland. They're playing in the same Coliseum.
Same stadium.
Okay. Yeah. After all that, after all the kind of the fun speculation, it kind of ended up being the same.
I was really hoping for San Antonio just to like throw a red.
Alabama wanted to host them. It was like, what? I don't know. That's a real big shift there. I was hoping for some chaos on that front, but no, I think they're gonna go right from Oakland to Las Vegas in 2020. All right, for the rest of your week 1 slate, hit me with it.
All right, for the rest of the week 1 slate, I have Dolphins, Bills, Bengals at Seahawks, Ravens at Steelers, Texans at Titans, Jaguars at Panthers, Broncos at Raiders, Falcons at Buccaneers, Cowboys at Saints, Washington at the Giants, Eagles at the Vikings, Lions at the Cardinals, and 49ers at the Ravens.
Any one of those in particular you want to talk about in terms of like anything interesting from those that stand out?
Not really. I think I did like in terms of just how I set it up. I had one division matchup per division.
Okay.
And the rest were out division. I think the only cross conference was Bengals Seahawks and Jaguars Panthers.
Okay. Yeah. The last few years, I feel week 1, like there was a really amazing week 1 slate. I think it was like in 2015, where it was like all the weird teams were playing each other. Like there was not really a lot of division matchups, but then in recent times, it's been kind of like boring. I'm hoping they kind of return to the weird matchups, which brings me to my week 1. I have to kick things off right. I have the Dolphins going to New York to play the Giants. The 2 worst teams in the league right now, at least on paper. Then you have the Jaguars go to the Titans.
I have a note about that. Let me get back to it when we're done.
Jaguars at Titans. Bengals at Bills. Andy Dalton returned to Buffalo after he gave them a postseason berth. Denver Broncos at the Colts, the horsey teams. The Ravens at the Seahawks. The Texans at the Chargers, just the playoff teams. Steelers at Niners, 2 obnoxious franchises. Redskins at Vikings, Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum.
Oh.
A little intrigue.
Oh.
Lions at Eagles. Rams at Falcons. Saints at Panthers. Cardinals at Buccaneers. Bruce Arians, of course. And that's it. That covers it.
Right.
And I think the way I had it set up was that I think that the doubleheader for week 1 is going to be CBS, which means the more AFC teams in the late slot. I know it's probably nothing that I don't know if you consider that at all for yours. No. Because I'm a nerd, I focused on it, but it's definitely I think it's probably going to end up being Fox again, because just Fox always getting the week 1 doubleheader, but we'll see.
All right, so the point I was going to make was I thought initially that the Dolphins were going to be my shit on team this year.
Yes.
And that was until the Giants made the move that they did.
Yes.
I think that the Giants will have a better record than the Dolphins at the end of the year.
Ooh, I'm surprised. I don't know. I don't know. I feel it depends. I think the Dolphins might be in good hands compared to the
They will
Giants.
but the Dolphins are in much better hands after this season, and we'll have to see what they do in the draft. The Dolphins crew is really bare bones right now,
Sure.
is really the thing. And the Giants at least have Saquon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. So like the Dolphins are going to beat the Patriots when the Patriots go to Miami. But other than that, I'm not sure when the Dolphins are going to win.
Mm.
So, um, but the Giants, I could probably find a couple matchups, and so I think the Dolphins will get. This is just me saying things right now. Dolphins will have the number one pick next year.
All right. Yeah. I of course I'm gonna hope the Giants do, but I at the same time, that's only if they don't get the quarterback of the future this year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I just felt like that was very fitting to have them start out, see who gets the easy winner out of the gate,
Yeah.
and then move into a season that will most likely be tumultuous, but we'll see. Um, Thanksgiving, we usually do Thanksgiving predictions, but like once again, rumor and reports have already spoiled things for us. So what's going to be the Thanksgiving slate? Go Cubs!
It is going to be the Chicago Bears at the Lions. It is also going to be the Miami Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Minnesota Vikings. The Philadelphia Eagles. I believe that's the order. You didn't tell me the correct order.
Yeah, sorry. No, the Eagles are going to Minnesota.
Eagles are going to Minnesota. A very NFC Thanksgiving with one AFC team. Last year was a very NFC Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's usually a very NFC based Thanksgiving, but you gotta get an AFC team in there. Dolphins are pretty good.
Although 2 years ago there was the Steelers Colts game, so that became and it was Steelers Colts and then also Chargers Cowboys.
Yes.
So it was 50-50.
And then last but not least, there is rumors. Awful Announcing is reporting that there's going to be a Saturday triple header for the first time. That will be the Saturday leading into Christmas, which I think Christmas is like midweek, but I think it's just like the week 16 Saturday. I don't think you didn't do any predictions for this, right?
No, my only prediction for that is that the Texans are going to play a very bad AFC team.
Okay.
Such as the Jets. I don't know if the Texans face the Jets this year or not. Probably not. But if they do, that's what the matchup is going to be.
First of all, the Jets are much better. I actually wrote an op-ed about how the Jets are soaring past the Giants.
The Jets are so much better than the Giants this year. It's not even a fucking competition.
They got Bell. They got some good defensive weapons. We'll get into that. But I think the Jets will be more frisky than people think. Speaking of the Jets though, I do have them playing on this as the early game against the Eagles. So it'd be Jets at Eagles. Eagles are just playing on all the holidays. Then the Falcons will be playing the Houston Texans. Texans will be there.
I do. Like the Texans are just like on those Saturday games. All
the
time.
Yeah. I think it fits for them. And finally, I went with, which I think it will end up being in a much better slot, but just for shits and giggles, I went with a green versus red team, with the Packers going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl I rematch.
Oh,
so there you go. That was my Christmas prediction. God knows if any of these outside of the reported ones are correct, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep tabs on it. I think my prediction is that the schedule is gonna be announced like Thursday or Friday of next week. But we'll see. I mean, when I say next week, it'll be this week because I'm probably not gonna put this up until like Monday or Tuesday, or at least sometime before the schedule release. That pretty much covers it. Is there anything else that you'd like to touch upon, Go Cubs, about the NFL offseason thus far?
I don't think so yet. There hasn't been any. I don't think there's been any like controversial rule changes, has there?
Ooh, there has actually. We'll touch more on that in May, but I think the biggest one to mention is that the um, all pass interference is now going to be reviewed.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to be for the
Whiny New Orleans fans got their way.
it's gonna the pro review crowd is gonna be happy. The anti review crowd is not gonna be happy. There'll still be the right amount of reviews, but it also gives the refs the ability to kind of stop the clock under 2 minutes to review what might end up being every passing play. If it's really a disaster, I could see them just trying to get rid of it. They did it last season with the tackling with the head rule, where they kind of like try to oust that before the season even started.
Yeah.
So if it's really bad, they'll try to adjust the rules, because the owners care at least a little bit about what they put on the field. To the point that if there's so much outrage, that there will be something to be said about it. But we'll see. That'll be a huge talking point in the off season, moving forward. There's probably a few more things, but again, I think we'll wait till May to do a big ol' off season recap post draft. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. But before that, next week, we will be doing our draft podcast and a return of I was gonna say fan favorite, but we don't have fans, so I'm just gonna say like just a character that has appeared on this podcast before that will get to be in the spotlight yet again. I don't know who it is. Do you have an idea?
I'm never here for that. How the fuck should I know?
That's true. That's
You're only ever allowed one other person on this podcast.
At once. Yeah, I have very limited slots here.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
don't have the right equipment.
You'll see that next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Don't expect too much of a draft preview. I'll just say that much. But sorry, Mike. Guess next week. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.